He wore a Boy Scout uniform. He earned badges. He learned survival skills. Parents trusted him. Teachers respected him. Children felt safe around him. But behind that uniform, behind that calm smile, was a predator hiding in plain sight. Tonight, we are uncovering one of the most disturbing cases in American history. A killer who used trust as a weapon. This is the story of the Boy Scout serial killer. This is the case of John Joubert. This is not a rumor. This is not a conspiracy. These crimes were real. The victims were real. And the damage lasted long after the killer was caught. Welcome to Dark Files TV. Let's begin. John Joubert was born in 1963. From the outside, he seemed quiet and intelligent. He followed rules. He respected authority. And most importantly, he blended in. Joubert became deeply involved in the Boy Scouts, a program built on trust, discipline, and mentorship. For parents, this was reassuring. For children, it meant safety. But inside Joubert's mind, something was deeply wrong. From a young age, he experienced violent fantasies. Fantasies centered on control, pain, and domination. He knew these urges were unacceptable. So instead of seeking help, he learned how to hide them. In September of 1983, Omaha, Nebraska was shaken by a disappearance. A 13-year-old boy named Danny Joe Eberly went missing. He had been riding his bicycle, something he had done countless times before. But this time, Danny never came home. Days later, his body was found. What police discovered was horrifying. The boy had been sexually assaulted, strangled, and left behind like evidence no one was meant to see. There were no witnesses, no clear suspects. At the time, investigators had no idea that this was only the beginning. Just months after the first murder, another child disappeared. And this time, police knew something was wrong. 12-year-old Christopher Walden vanished in Sarpy County, Nebraska. He was last seen doing something completely normal. Something children did every day. When his body was found, investigators felt a sense of dread because they had seen this before. The injuries were disturbingly similar. The positioning, the method, the brutality. This was no coincidence. This was repetition. Police now understood one terrifying truth. They were no longer investigating a single murder. They were hunting a serial killer. Fear spread quickly across the community. Parents stopped letting children walk alone. Playgrounds went quiet. Schools sent warnings home. But the killer did not panic. He did not flee. He stayed close, watching, learning, and preparing for what would have been the next victim. What police did not know was that the killer was about to make a mistake that would finally expose him. In 1984, John Joubert attempted to abduct another boy. This time, the plan did not go as expected. The victim resisted. He screamed. He fought back. And against the odds, he escaped. For the first time, police had something they never had before. A living witness. The boy described not just a face, but behavior, the way the man spoke, the confidence. Investigators followed the clues carefully, slowly, methodically. The trail led to an Air Force base nearby, where a quiet, disciplined serviceman stood out. John Joubert. When police searched his belongings, the case took a dark turn. They found handwritten writings, violent fantasies, thoughts he had hidden for years. These were not random thoughts. They were rehearsals. When confronted with the evidence, Joubert did not deny it. He did not argue. He confessed, calmly, without emotion. But catching him was only the beginning, because what came next would force the court to answer one final question. Could a man like this ever be rehabilitated? John Joubert was charged and brought to trial. The evidence was overwhelming. Witness testimony, physical evidence, and his own confession. Throughout the proceedings, Joubert showed little reaction. No tears, no visible regret. Psychologists testified about his compulsions, his inability to feel normal empathy. The court ultimately reached its decision. In 1996, John Joubert was executed by electric chair. In his final moments, he claimed he could not control his urges, a statement that still divides experts to this day. John Joubert did not look like a monster. That is what made him so dangerous. He hid behind uniforms, institutions, and trust. He existed in spaces where people felt safe, and he used that safety as a weapon. The scariest part is not how he killed. It's how long he went unnoticed. Because sometimes, the most dangerous people are the ones we trust the most. So now the question is yours. Was John Joubert born this way? Or shaped by what he hid for years? Could this have been stopped earlier? Or was it inevitable? Leave your theory in the comments. Subscribe for more real cases where the truth is darker than fiction. Because some files never truly close.